all of my 7th and 8th grade year, because I was a cheerleader in 7th and 8th grade, that was how we started our basketball games.
I can see little Whitney down there.
Hey.
Defense.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
be
probably
aggressive. Be aggressive.
Aggressive. Be aggressive.
Hey.
Let's ask the audience. Put it in the comments. Who do you think was a cheerleader longer? Whitney
at an older age in life?
Or Truston?
I think you've already given the answer away. Welcome to the Tug of War, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
This is a conversation between two friends.
That's right.
That we feel a tug and a pull into more. And so this is a conversation about how we do what we do. How do we get there? How do we keep going?
How do we keep showing up wearing matching T-shirts?
Hey, today we have a reason to celebrate and to wear matching T-shirts.
That's true.
To cheer and be excited.
Can we tell the story about how we recently went to a city council meeting?
Oh, gosh, that was so embarrassing.
And like we had worked all day. You know, city councils are on Monday night, and Whitney and I showed up.
They're not till 7, so we go home.
So we go home, see our family, eat dinner, all the things, and kiss kids. We show up to the city council meeting wearing the exact same outfit. Like leather gray jackets, same T-shirts, dark jeans, white shoes. Like we literally look like we met at the mall, bought clothes together, and showed up to...
our mom dressed us for those Olin Mills photos. That's what we looked like. That's what I felt like. And like we say it all the time. We're not married to each other. We're married to other people, and we try really hard to make sure that people don't assume the wrong things. And that did not help our cause.
we showed up. Maybe we were in red shoes.
We were in, because red is our victory color.
Yeah,
and so we were wearing red shoes, dark jeans.
How do we look like idiots?
White shirts and gray leather jackets. We both, God, we looked ridiculous.
So today we're matching again.
Yeah, but this time it is on purpose.
It is on purpose.
That's right.
I have a hot outfit over there that I had to change. I had a camouflage shirt with roses in it with a jacket that says Living Church. But this is why I had to take it off.
Yes. Yesterday.
Oh,
no. Well, when this is aired, it will be 2 days later. That's right. I'm like, what day is it? 2 days ago, we shared the news with our congregation church that Living Church is now More Church.
More Church.
Come on.
Hey, if you're already part of the Tug team, you understand the power of the idea of more. We talk about it here every single week.
That's right.
That we feel called and tugged into more. And so we have... wanted to change the name of Living Church for...
We've been talking about it for about 5 years.
Yeah. But it was kind of like, do we really want to? Why do we want to do it? When's the right time?
Right.
And so it just felt like with everything that God's been doing, which we're going to share some of that story now. We just shared it all on Sunday.
Yep. You can watch it on YouTube if you want to go see the whole story, but we're going to share a bunch of other details. There you go. Link it somewhere.
And so you can go and watch the Sunday rendition of the story. But we felt like with everything that's happening, that now's the time.
Yeah.
Living Church was never going to be smaller than it is right now.
Right.
We just survived COVID. We're in the middle of a move. Churches nationally are down in numbers. And so we're down from where we were. Now we're trending in the right direction. We're growing.
We're moving back up.
And we're in this like
setup from the bottom, now we're here.
So we're in this setup and tear down season. And so like things are real crazy. Let's just throw another wrench in the gears and change the name of the church.
But when we tell the story, you will be able to see very clearly that the verse we've had from the beginning of Living Church, that in the Bible, it
Ephesians 3:20.
Yep, that's right. It says, to him who is able, to God who is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask, think, or imagine. And what we've seen in the last, 12 years of the church, but for sure in the last few, is God do more and more and more. And so that's who we are.
I've been a little nervous to change the name of the church.
You've been a little nervous?
I've been a lot nervous. A lot nervous to change the name of the church for a bunch of reasons.
Well,
I remember when we were back in our Matlock location, maybe we can put a picture of this in. When we were back in our Matlock location, on our back wall of the stage, have we already talked about this here?
I don't think we have.
On the back stage of our wall, we had a wood vibe. We had got pallet wood.
Shiplap. No.
Pallet, like
refurbish. What's it called?
Resalvaged, reclaimed lumber. Pallet boards that we like stapled on the back of the wall and made it this kind of like cool, like 2004.
In 2016.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
And so like it was super cool.
No.
Well,
great.
then.
And we have 4 TVs across, which we have talked about the 4 TVs.
Yeah.
Across
sometimes they worked and sometimes they blinked, but mostly they blinked.
Yeah.
And so
the repo man tried to take
we were doing 4 services.
Right.
And I was preaching my guts out. Everybody was dead tired. And so we knew that to sustain that, we had to do a couple services that were recording.
Yeah.
And so we bought a giant LED wall, which was actually a miracle in how we got that too. Me and Aaron beat up a guy in a parking lot and stole it from him. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but you did.
We worked him.
Beat him down in price. And
we worked that thing. Got an LED wall. So we put it in, and so we took down the wood wall. Yeah. This is why I'm nervous about changing the name.
Yeah,
this is why. So we take down the wood wall, and people weep. They weep. We've only been in the building 5 years, and they act like we tore down a memorial.
I believe you
to Abraham Lincoln.
I believe you jokingly said, and if anybody wants some of the wood, I know y'all can have it or something. And then we ended up having to do like a wood giveaway day because of how many people were like, God changed my life, and that piece right there, I stare at it every week.
If you're a crier of the wood wall, I'm not teasing you. I get it. I'm super sentimental.
Yeah, we're sentimental
I
people.
threw out some Living Church t-shirts this week and may or may have not had a moment.
Yeah, you definitely had a moment.
Okay, so like I'm a sentimental guy.
Right.
But people were upset that we moved the wood wall and we put in an LED wall.
No, yeah, we all can have sentimental, but
so my concern,
right?
My trepidation about shifting the name from Living Church to who we already are,
right? It's who we've always been.
More Church, is for the sentimental people out there that have loved Living Church so long and are so invested in it.
Right.
They might not have a tattoo on their butt, but they got one in their heart.
Yeah.
That now they feel like something's changed. The logo hasn't changed.
No.
The asterisk is who we are.
Right.
It defines that there's more. And so, more
I
church.
think that is what so helped us make the right decision, was that we realized Living Church does not answer easily who we are. Yeah. It doesn't speak to, yes, we're alive. Yes, we're fun. Yes, we're living, breathing people. Yes, all those things. But more is so much of what we constantly say and speak and believe and clearly live our lives to be.
Yeah, I mean, I could preach living.
No, right, you could.
Lazarus resurrected, Jesus resurrected, we're alive, trees got to be alive, acorn. I could preach living, but what is just a part of our daily vernacular is more. Yeah. I mean, we called the podcast The Tug of More because it's what we believe. Yeah. And so we're just made a shift, name change. Ministry is an experiment. We're not changing it back.
No, I was going to say, I'm saying, not an experiment.
But if you don't like it, sorry.
No, right.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like
McDonald's is a weird name. Burger King does not have the best burgers.
No.
I'm saying, what's the name matter anyways?
Well, I mean, it's just a thing you call it always and forever. But I remember when my sister had her kids, she decided she wasn't telling anybody her son's name. It's unique. His name is Fitzgerald, which is an older name and all the things. But she was like, I don't need their opinion. And I know people are full of opinions. I know lots of people who, when they tell their kid's name or whatever, people are like, oh yeah, but you should spell it like this, or oh yeah, you should do that. And as leaders, it can be hard when you're making a giant decision like that. Yeah. Because people are gonna have opinions.
So if you're a part of, if you have been a part of Living Church and you're a little sad about it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But guess what? There's more.
That's right.
There's more. And so sometimes the past is the past and we need to step into the future.
Sometimes the best place to leave the past is in the past. And so we're moving forward.
So this Sunday, we gave out 1,000 t-shirts. 1,000 t-shirts. Yeah. We gave out a buttload of t-shirts. Yeah. Sold a bunch of t-shirts and new swag. We announced the name change.
Yeah.
We
most importantly
had the world's largest pizza there. Oh, we'll talk about that in another podcast.
Yes. But most importantly, we celebrated the goodness of what had happened and the reason why this was the right moment. I think that's what we realized is in sharing what God's done, when would be a better time to then exclaim, I can't say that word, exclaim that there's more, because he just showed it to us. And of course we know that there's going to continue to be. So where do you want to start? Because
man, there's so many places that we could start. I love that it's just a conversation. So I think that God, again, we're pastors, so our context is the Bible and God and Jesus, and he's awesome. If you don't know him, get to know him.
Right.
I believe that God has seasons for us.
Yeah.
You know, farmers, they harvest every year around the same time.
Yeah.
And it feels like in my life and in the life of our ministry that there's something about the beginning of March.
Well, it's the start of spring. It's not actually spring start, but it's the start of spring. It's like new beginning, but there really are some very unique lining up things that we're like, that we kind of realized. Even today, we realized more of them that we're like, what?
So we're filming this now, March 2022.
Right.
But in March of 2020, so 2 years ago, we made an announcement to our church that we were going to set up and tear down.
Yeah.
And we showed the picture Willie Pig. We gave T-shirts out to our whole church then that were red that said it's not about the building.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So that was 2 years ago. Then last year, this exact same week.
Yeah. We wore those same shirts on stage.
Oh, you're right.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And we told our church that though we had gone to city council, because you and I in COVID season went before city council, you presented 3 times in a row. Like it was a unique season of our life, but we worked super hard in that to get all our building plans prepared to move.
Because we had previously bought 36 acres of land.
To build on. And so we were doing setup and tear down like we've been doing, but then we were planning to build. We had all our architecture and engineering drawings. We had the little fly-through video. We had all the little things ready for the campaign for the people. And the week or so before, in conversation, we finally like shared with each other what we really felt like God was speaking. And that was just to wait, to not actually do what we had been planning to do, but to be obedient and to wait. And it was really hard and really frustrating. Yeah. But a year ago, this week, that's what we told everybody. Hey, this is how we are. We talk about it every week. We're transparent leaders. We say all the words, even the last 10%. And so as leaders, we were like, we're not going to lie to them. We're not going to just shift the series. Let's tell them the truth. Yeah. Let's bring them into the story. So we did.
Yeah.
And then we waited a year. And now this. Go.
So in like pastoral leadership, church culture, doing a building campaign, like raising funds for a building, is a long planning process.
Very.
So like, I mean, previously when we've done these, it's a 9-month prep.
Yeah.
9 months.
Right.
Of like pre-meetings, conversations, booklets printed, websites created, like.
Right.
There's tons of groundwork.
Right.
We, in the beginning years, hired a company to come help teach us how to do it.
Yeah.
Tons of work. And we had done all that work.
Right.
And then 2 weeks before, Whit and I go to lunch to have a meeting about something else. And I just said, I don't have peace about starting this campaign.
Right.
And she was like, neither do I. So we told the church, we're going to wait on building this big, beautiful building. We're going to wait on trying to raise funds. And then when God told us to wait, we didn't really even know what that meant.
Right.
I thought it just meant wait, and don't do the series.
Right.
But what God actually meant was, I want you to put your hands in your pockets. I want you to lay down.
Yep.
I want you to not fight. And I want you to wait.
Yeah. Right.
The last city council meeting that we went to for our building approval on the 36 acres, I carry a pocket knife with me everywhere I go. And it's not like some little tiny baby pocket knife.
No, we've had to like turn around at the airport. You've had to hide it in places when we've gone to amusement parks.
It's like I'm going to stab me, man.
It's a big knife.
Okay. And so we're going to, there's a knife show coming to Fort Worth soon, by the way. Oh. I saw it on my feed.
Put it on your calendar.
Yeah, I know, it's on my calendar.
Okay, there you go.
And so I go to the city council meeting. I'm getting dressed to go to this last city council meeting. And I felt like God said, leave your knife at home.
Yeah.
Which is super contrary to my being.
Right.
And so I did. I left my knife on the counter, and it was because God was like, don't fight, Truston. Yeah. Just lay down.
Right.
And so that was perpetuated into this moment of like, wait, you forced me, you and Aaron and Rachel forced me that summer to take a sabbatical.
Yeah.
And so I took 7 weeks. I was not at church on a Sunday for 7 weeks. And guess what? It didn't burn down.
Right. Nothing broke. Nothing was irreparable. Like,
We fired a couple people and didn't ask me about it, but other than that.
Yeah. Hey, it needed to happen. I'm just kidding. And so
that's a joke.
A joke, just kidding. But in it, you learned something. God, we learned so many things. But in that, you learned something you'd been struggling to learn was just the like actually letting it go, and actually like something you and I have a hard time with is like we do all that we can do. And that's why I think it's really unique, this whole, it's been a year and then a year and then a year. And then actually even today, I realized some things that happened 5 years ago the same week that put things in motion for us in our life and in our hearts and things. And I'm like, you're right. This spring season or whatever it is, March, is such a like moment to march forward, march into more that has happened in our life every time. And weirdly, though, we have always tried to push it faster. Because it's just who we are. Because the tug and the tension pulls us there. But what we've learned in
push it real good. We go all salt and pepper on everything.
No, right. But what we've learned is like even in our, the last year since all that has happened has started to transpire, we have pushed it as hard as we can and as fast as we can.
Yeah.
And even though to you and I, it made no sense why it was taking so long.
Yeah.
In God's goodness now, looking back, I'm like, of course it's all coming together in this 1 week. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Because it's his reminder of like, I've got this.
I got you.
Like, you can do it. Do your work. Don't be lazy. Like, you know. But at the end of the day, lay down. I'm doing it. Calm down.
Okay.
What?
It's great. Okay, so the story.
Let's go.
God tells us to wait.
Yep.
So we get up on a Sunday and we announce that we're not doing the building campaign, and I basically tell the church, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next. We're just going to preach about some junk.
No.
We're just going to...
Yes. He said, build the people and I'll build the church. That's what God spoke. So that's what we told them.
Yeah.
And he told us to wait.
Yeah.
So then what?
So then we just learned waiting for 6 months. And we just talked about some of that.
Yeah.
But then the next day...
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
What's
the next day after we made that announcement a year ago, we went to a conference.
Yeah.
It's called the CMN Conference, Church Multiplication Network Conference.
Which is ironic because we were feeling like the church subtraction moment of our life. That's what we were feeling.
CSN, Church Subtraction Network.
Yes.
And so went to this conference, did not want to go for like 13 reasons.
Yeah, there's a bunch of reasons.
That I don't need to get into, but mostly didn't want to go because we had owned this 36 acres, and everywhere I go, people say, Pastor Truston, how's the building campaign?
Yeah.
You break ground yet?
Yeah.
Have you moved in yet? And so I basically feel like a loser every time somebody asks me that question because no, we haven't done, we've done a lot, but we haven't broken ground yet.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go to a stupid conference. But we go just because we've been faithful. We've been going.
There, right.
We've been serving at it. Whitney and Rachel actually spoke.
Oh yeah, we were also speaking. That's true. That's maybe
if y'all weren't speaking, I probably would have.
You might have not
came up with a handful of reasons.
No, yeah. But because we have committed years ago that we were going to be obedient, we were going to be faithful. We were like, even though it doesn't feel good, we're going to show up, even though we don't feel like it. And so we did. And we are not back row Joes at all by any stretch of the imagination. We are always front row Frank. Front row Frank.
Front row Francis.
Yeah, whatever it is. And
front row Fitzgerald.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Hey, I see what you did there. That was good. But we got there and like, I think we just like, we drug our feet. We were in the lobby too long talking to people. We just like, were not feeling it. And so we end up sitting in the way back of the room, which we never do, which already feels weird and uncomfortable too, because it's so out of our norm. And so, but what's funny is from the minute we get there, from the songs they were singing, from the scriptures they were sharing, because I think wasn't there 2 messages that night?
Yeah.
The whole theme was about waiting on God.
Yeah, trust God, wait on his timing. But the other theme of the night was not only wait, but was like, there's more coming.
Right.
And so the lady, her name is Bianca.
Yeah.
She preaches on that verse we just quoted at the top, Ephesians 3:20, that I've preached 100 times.
Yeah.
And so, you hear something that you've already preached. At first, you're like, yeah.
Well, preached. It's like a live verse, right?
But in the moment, God is like hitting me with it again.
Yeah.
Like, still believe it, Truston. Dream on. Like, don't forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we get to the end of the service.
Yeah.
And how much of this, we want to tell the whole thing?
Well, I guess, I don't know.
And so she kind of starts giving this like prophetic moment, which just means that she feels like God's given her some clarity to speak some things in the room.
Yeah.
And she says, I feel like there's somebody in the room who has an issue at the church with their roof.
Yeah.
There's a roofing issue. And if that's you, God wants to do something. Stand up.
Right.
And so in this moment, we have a lot of memories firing because we had roof issues.
Yeah. When about 6 years ago, there was
at our Matlock building.
Our Matlock building.
So we're not just set up and tear down. We owned a building.
Yeah.
I talked about the Woodwall. The Woodwall building.
Yeah, the Woodwall building. And so like in our one classroom, like if it rained at all, like water would be leaking down the, you remember down the walls? Like our air conditioners were busted. There had been like a hailstorm and it had busted the air conditioners and the roof and all the things. And like we had insurance. We were paying that on time. Like, but
you cannot have church in Texas without air conditioning.
No. And so it was just a mess. And we were fighting. I mean, you were, again, same as we always do. We were pushing as hard as we could. We'd even gone to like a place to try to like negotiate and sue the insurance and all the things because we just couldn't figure it out. And in that season, God had spoken to us to give to some people who were starting a ministry overseas. And we did it even though we weren't really in a financial place to do it.
So we have broken air conditioners and a leaking roof.
Yeah.
And then God tells us to give this missionary $1,000 a month. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I ain't giving them $1,000 a month. I gotta get air conditioners up in here. Right. But we listened to what God said and we're obedient and we gave the $1,000 consistently to this missionary. And, well, there's actually two different things that happened.
Right. No, but there's multiple things.
You have better historical memory than me.
No, and then in the same like week span, we felt called to buy a car for a single dad in our church who had gone through a hard time. And so we did those two things kind of right together. And then within 2 weeks, not only did the insurance say, hey, we're going to pay it. And not only we're going to pay it, we're going to pay twice as much as what you need. Yeah. Then also someone walked in with a giant check
for $300,000
and said, I want to invest this into the house.
The vehicle we bought the single dad was $3,000.
Yeah.
And then somebody gave us a 100-fold check of $300,000. Right. Okay. And so like got the new roof put on, got the new air conditioning put on, all the pieces.
And so in this moment,
we're sitting there and this lady's saying, there's somebody here who has a bad roof. And we're like, oh, we remember being there.
Yeah.
And so we see this couple up in the front.
I think like 5 or so couples in the room stand. It's a big, I mean, it's like, I don't know, 1,500 people in the room or something. Yeah. And we see about 5 couples stand, and there's a little couple. I mean, they're just so cute and small and young looking from the backside. And so we're like, I don't know. We weren't even sitting by each other, but we both identified that same couple. I don't know why, but because Jesus, I guess.
And so the lady preaching, she says, Bianca, she says, we're going to pray for these needs, but there's some of you in the room that not only can pray for the need, but can meet the need.
Right.
And me and Whit like look at each other down the thing and we're like, oh crap. And so we get out of our seats and go and pray. And I don't think anybody else in the whole room even moved.
I don't know.
It's not like people swarmed these other 5.
No, it wasn't like people were, we were just.
And so we walk down to pray for this couple as this lady's praying.
We had to,
And while we're walking down, I hear God say, meet the need and don't say no.
Yeah.
Which is really scary because that's a blank check.
Yeah, you had no idea how much it was.
And so we go down and I go behind the back of the people and Whit goes around the front of them and we're praying. And when he starts trying to mouth me something, I don't know what she's saying. I can't read no lips and I'm trying to pray and I'm all emotional. And when we're done praying.
Darn woman. I'm just kidding.
And so they turn around and I know the people.
Well, which is what I was trying to tell you.
Just trying to say, here's who they are. This is their name. But
because I'm like. They're people who in your life had been some people who had given, the whole theme of that conference had been to give a boost. And they were people in your life who had given you a boost, who had you'd done ministry with and when you were young. And I remember
he's one of the first guys who ever threw me a mic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I remember like when I first met you and like you were like fun, crazy microphone man, and we would go to pep rallies and do different things. You were always like, blah, blah, blah. And this guy was always the guy you were like, it's because he let me just do and be crazy. And so when I walked around and saw, we genuinely thought they were like 27-year-old young church
everyone goes to pastor's conference and dresses all fancy. They all go to the mall and buy their new H&M jackets.
Yeah, everybody looking good. And not that these people aren't adorable. They are. They're just older than us.
Sir, you're 50. Why are you in H&M?
No, stop it. If we're going to still be looking good when we're 50. Come on, bro.
Like a pimp.
And so a
good pimp.
I was just surprised.
A pimp for Jesus.
Okay. Faithful. And so we walk around and I'm like, oh, it's these people. So we turn around, we talk to them, and they tell us how much, which, to be honest, I was grateful for how much, because it was half of what our roof had cost. In my head, I knew too, as we're walking down, we're buying these people's roof. I knew it, but in my head, it was going to be what ours had cost, and thankfully, it wasn't as much. But in it
was $40,000.
Yeah, it was $40,000. I was trying to remember how exactly it
was. $40,000.
And so we walk back, and I remember you and I have this thing sometimes where we say words but don't say words, and so we walk back and you go, right? And I'm like, yes. And so we go back to Aaron and Rach and talk with them. We pray together. We go again that night and pray together, and separately, or separate from the conference. And we're like, we have to do it. And so we met with them the next day and told them, and they said that this roof situation was just gutting them from, they had acquired a campus, and they had merged to churches together, and they were trying to do a renovation and update it, and they're in New Orleans, which is already a place that struggles with everything, like the floods and all the pieces. I don't know what y'all live
there for.
And so
we just need to get everybody to just all move and go to Utah.
Utah?
It's pretty. Yeah. And there's not a lot of people there.
Montana, maybe. I don't know. And so anyway, this might have seemed like an insignificant thing. It's just a roof, like a leaky roof. Oh, just put a bucket. But no, this was a huge thing.
You can't get a loan if your roof is leaking. Yeah. Nobody's going to loan you money to put in new walls and carpet and sheetrock and speakers.
And so
if your roof
even though
leaks.
it's a giant amount of money, it was so necessary for them.
So let's pull it back into perspective.
Okay.
Our church is in setup and tear down.
Yeah.
Paying $14,000 a month to rent where we have church.
On top of the mortgage
our church
that we have.
is paying our mortgage at our building that's too small.
We own, yeah.
Our church is paying the mortgage on the land, 36 acres. And it's in COVID.
Right.
And God just told us to wait.
Right.
I am not feeling happy in life. And then now, on top of this, we've been scrapping and saving and fighting money and not hiring people, not doing things, trying to save money. And now we're going to give away $40,000. $40,000 is an employee for a year.
Right.
We're going to give away $40,000. Heck to the no.
Right. Except yes.
Except yes.
Except yes, of course. And so
we give them the money, and then the very next week, nothing happens.
Not anything.
The first time we did this, when we bought the car and we gave it to the missionaries, we got two checks.
Yeah.
We got $200,000 for insurance. We got $300,000 from the people in the church.
God, you making it rain. Okay. And then this time we're like, come on, where are you at? Hello?
Nothing. And so then we have that 6 month learning how to wait. And so we actually stopped.
At first, remember we started saying what does wait mean?
But maybe we can still tour buildings.
And what was it we were saying? Wait appropriately? What was the stupid word we were trying to make up? We were making up stupid words maybe God's saying that. And we're like, no. And so, we're still touring buildings. We're still doing things that we were just wasting our time.
Yeah.
Because it was
just wasted our time.
That's all we were doing.
So we finally in the summer,
because we were wasting our time though, and we haven't even talked about that part of it. To me, is so when we don't be all the way obedient, look how much time we spend wasting and spinning in circles.
Dude, I was Jericho marching junk.
Yeah.
You know, Jericho March, you go drive around every day for 7 days.
You took a sabbatical, but I almost had to punch you because you were working on half of your sabbatical trying to go get a building.
I wanted to buy fries.
Right.
I still kind of want the building. But I wanted to buy fries, and I couldn't. Fries is like electronics business that closed down all across the country, and there's one in Arlington that's kind of near us. It's 200,000 square feet. Dude, that would be a baller church. And so I wanted that.
We walked it multiple times.
But we couldn't get anybody to call us back. So I took my sabbatical, and I just happened to go to the Redwood Forest, which is just also right next door to the Fry's headquarters in California.
And he just happened to find a gate that was unlocked and walked in while he was.
So I jumped a fence and bullied my way into a meeting with Fry's exec, and they're not going to.
And they still said no. Yeah. And so
So after that, I was just so defeated.
Right.
Because it felt like the only building option that would work for us, that I actually rested in my sabbatical.
Right.
I actually stopped.
You were like, fine, literally, I've done all I can do. Okay, God.
I've exhausted myself. Let's rest.
Yeah.
And so we did. And then a bunch of time went by and still nothing happened. So then after my sabbatical, I came back to kind of work to SummerSlam.
We did a revival. We call it SummerSlam because why? Do it.
SummerSlam.
There it is. And
it's funny. That's the reason we call it SummerSlam. It's just fun.
And so we had our 3-night revival. It was great. It was wonderful. But yeah, I mean, you literally had not been in the office for weeks, and then we did that event, and we had not caught up on. And you and I consistently meet every week, and so we had
Whitney
a lot
told
to
the
catch
staff,
up on.
do not text him. So
I was out of all staff threads.
I was literally in the dark for 7 weeks.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, we really have a lot to catch up on. Like, we were still friends. I still talked to you.
Oh yeah, we still had dinner and all
but
things.
Not about work related.
Is this good?
Things.
Is this too long? Are we okay? Okay.
No, this is good.
No, I don't know.
Being people talking. And so, what's the next piece?
We get back. SummerSlam, it's great. Monday night, SummerSlam is the greatest thing. I feel like it's the greatest thing I ever had the privilege of being a part of on stage. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And so then it's now like the following week.
Yeah.
We're having staff meeting on Tuesday. And we have too long of a to-do list to have staff meeting.
Right.
We have staff lunch with our team. We go out to eat.
Well, and it felt a little bit like, how are we even going to have staff meeting? Because we haven't even prepared anything to
we don't have time to have staff meeting. We don't have time to go and smile at lunch. But it was in that it was like, no, wait on the Lord.
Right.
Rest.
Celebrate.
Go celebrate what happened in these revival services.
Yeah.
So we literally at like 11:50 are like, should we just cancel and tell everybody not to go to lunch? But then we say, no, let's go to lunch.
Let's go to lunch.
So we go to Twisted Root, shout out, it's a burger spot here in Mansfield.
Yeah.
And while we're in line, in walks the city manager and like that whole staff.
Yeah. Deputy city manager, assistant city manager, city planner, blah, 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 all the names.
And so I know all these cats from just being in the community 12 years.
Right.
And so I go over and start hobnobbing and telling pastor jokes and saying a bunch of stupid stuff.
And they then
because that's the personality that I have created in the city, is that I'm the wild pastor.
That's right. No, you are the pastor of the city. And so you did that, but in that moment, then they also came and asked you the question that everyone asks you: hey, pastor, when you breaking ground?
When you breaking ground? Remember you were at city council causing all kind of ruckus?
Yeah,
whatever
that
happened?
was back in May, way before. What are you doing? And you were like, well, we're just waiting.
We don't know.
We don't know all the way. And you said something like, if you had a free bill, you said something funny, and they were like, well, actually, we've been wanting to talk to you, and said that they had a proposition for us. And so I remember that we sent the staff to go back to a staff meeting we were going to have at some point, but you and I actually got in the car and drove to City Hall and said, they said they want to get a meeting with us. I don't know. I guess we better get that scheduled.
Yeah, actually, I'm here. Yeah, let's do it right now.
Right now, whatever.
And so we went and met with them, and they told us that there was a building potentially available, which ended up not working at all.
Yeah.
But then they had so they wanted our 36 acres. So we own 36 acres off of with some freeway frontage.
Right.
And unless we're like showing a bunch of maps and stuff, it's not going to make all the way sense. This is why you got to watch the Sunday message, because I'll have all the maps and pictures and all the things.
Yeah.
The city wants our property to adjoin it with another big piece of property next door so they can do a big 150 acre development. But ours is a cornerstone. They have to have our property to make the thing work.
Ours is the only one that connects from the
Two
highway
roads.
And the road behind it.
Yeah.
And so,
And so
great
I'm like, well, dude, it's not for sale. We're already 100 G's into architecture. Like, it's not for sale.
Right.
And they're like, well, let's just keep talking.
Yeah. And so through a whole bunch of different conversations, end up talking and finding out that, well, they have other property that they could swap us, and they could give us some money, and some things could happen. And so what's really funny and unique is that right in the midst of that conversation is when also at the same time we got the offer on the Matlock building.
Oh, we were trying to sell Woodwall building.
We had been, Woodwall. That is what we're going to start calling it, huh? The Woodwall building, it had been for sale for 2 years by
I mean, like for sale,
yeah,
like
not like
we don't have a sign out front.
Yeah, not highly listed, but I think had been listed for almost 2 years at that point. And literally in that same week is when we got
same week. Oh, which is funny that it started the same week and it's all closing the same week.
No, that's what I'm saying. Isn't that crazy? And so,
okay,
yeah.
So offer comes in on Matlock.
Yeah,
they want to buy that. We owe about $1 million on the building, and they offer our full asking price.
Yeah.
Of $3 million.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get $2 million cash.
Yeah.
Once we sell the building.
Right. And so that's happening, and then all in the same time, the city just keeps talking to us, and you keep doing what you do because you sold cars forever and all the things.
When we started Living Church, there wasn't money to pay people, and so I bought and sold cars for the first 5 years. But I've always been that guy. I've always been like buying stuff at garage sales and reselling
anytime
it.
we go to the store, you say, "You got a coupon back there that I can like."
Always. I don't care how much money I have. I'm always trying to get a deal.
Yeah. That's just the way it is.
I got a deal this morning. It's that 8:45 meeting I had. I got a deal. Yeah, I got a deal this morning. So I'm working the junk out of it, and God's favor is on us.
Right.
Do we just get to the end of the story?
Yeah.
And so the end of the story is that the city of Mansfield so badly wants our 36 acres that we have now traded our 36 acres with freeway frontage,
which only has 16 buildable acres. Actually, we didn't say that part, but that's what's
incredible. It only has 16 buildable out of the 36 because of a well site and a creek.
Yeah.
We're trading our 36 for 46 acres, 10 more additional acres, 100% buildable,
right?
Flat ground. But it's not just 36 for 46. When we bought the 36 acres, we got it for 92 cents a square foot.
Right.
43,560 square feet per acre.
Right.
We got it for 92 cents. You add that up, it's about $1.5 million for the 36 acres. Yeah. So they're trading us 36 for 46 and paying us $1.5 million.
Right.
So that means that we now own 46 acres off the freeway in the same comparable area that we were in for free.
But guess what?
There's more.
There's always more.
There's more.
And so in that property does not have good access because it doesn't have any roads. And so they said, well, let us put $1.57 million more into an escrow account for the roads that you will have them fully paid for.
So in a escrow, if you don't know what that is, buy a house. So in an escrow account, which is essentially just an account that we now have access to, they've given us 1.57 to put in roads
all the way up to our parking lot.
So 1.5 plus 1.57 is $3.7 million on top of the 46 acres.
And then they said, oh, this property hasn't been developed, so let us move all of the infrastructure.
Power, sewage, water, fiber.
Yep.
They're going to pay to relocate all of the utilities to our phase 1 location.
Yep. Oh, and then there's more than that. So we've been, oh, bless you.
But there's more.
There's more.
Man.
Is that the rental space that we've been meeting in, we said, like, this is a big issue of, like, we have to pay $14,000 a month. And they said, okay, well, we'll pay that too.
So the city is now going to pay our rental for the next 2 years of $14,000 a month, which equals $336,000
extra
saved over the next 2 years.
Which is actually $4 million total. We didn't even realize that. Do you even understand? Like, it's crazy.
But, okay. So all of that happened in the literal same week while we're selling Matlock.
Right.
So we now have $2 million in the bank from selling Matlock. We now have free property that we're sitting on. We now have roads and infrastructure.
Yeah.
But also, let's not forget that we're currently sitting in a free facility.
I was going to say, they already know this story.
In that same timeline, in October, it's now only March.
Right.
In October, we came, met a pastor. The church voted to give us 6 acres.
Right.
Paid off with a 13,000 square foot building and a parsonage that the pastor currently is in, but he's moving. They're going to shift that
to different things. Yeah.
It's stupid. So now we have $3 million in equity here. Why? Why did the more happen?
Because we obeyed the waiting upon the Lord.
We got the more because we waited.
Is that a thing? I don't know. But yes, it's real. It's okay. Well, yep. No, that's right. You're right, Bailey. She said 3,000 became 300,000, which is 100-fold. You gave 40,000, you're getting 4 million. That's 100-fold again. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
It's crazy. You're right.
So, dude,
golly,
if you're watching at home, I hope that you're like rewinding that and listening to it again, because there's a lot of details of what we just said.
And we don't got our band behind us, like doing the drums and making it all intense and crazy, but it is a crazy, incredible thing.
We don't know what we're doing
at all. Like, we don't know. We just
don't know how to pastor a church. I don't know what the junk I'm doing. I don't know how to, I don't know how land swap.
No, right.
I don't know about land acquisition.
We didn't know all about.
I don't know about hiring a lawyer. We got one now. I don't know about none of this.
Right.
I don't know about none of this stuff.
Right.
All I know how to do is take the next right step. All I know how to do is go like this. I got a plan, and then God says something. I'm like, what? Oh crap. Okay.
Okay, we better do what he said instead. No, it's...
I got a plan. What? Oh, crap. Okay, this is my leadership strategy. And so because of that...
No, it's so good.
We now we're debt-free.
Right.
We're debt-free on 6 acres. We're debt-free on 46 acres.
Crazy.
We've got, I don't know how many millions in the bank that's going to position us to be able to break ground.
Right.
And God's speaking some stuff now that I'm trying to even figure out what our next right step is.
Right. And what's incredible is the tug and tension. So we talk about it all the time on this podcast, is that we want to just keep pulling. But what we've learned is that sometimes there's like relaxing and waiting and resting and releasing in the midst of the fight of the tug.
Because we're in a pull right now.
Oh, yeah.
Getting all the details ironed out and contracts signed and lawyers on the same page. We got calluses on our hands. We're tugging hard right now.
But there have been moments we've had to give. We've had to like pull back and just rest for a second. And like, we're having to learn that tension, because the truth is, once we get through this tug of war game, there's just going to be another one and another one. Like you said, we have more questions right now than we, have answers. But yet we now can see, we're doing the right thing. We're in the right spot.
I think we said it on a couple episodes ago. People will ask me how I'm doing, and I say, I'm doing fine. But the real answer is I feel like I'm drowning in blessing.
Yeah.
That like when you wait on God and God opens the floodgates.
Yeah.
When the floodgates open, you drowned. Like, oh man, there's so much flood. And it feels like too much.
Yeah.
It feels like navigating the acquisition of this property. It feels like the details of selling Matlock. It feels like the land swap with the city. What did our lawyer tell us?
He said, because I was like, I'm sorry, we've been a little delayed in getting you the one thing back and like whatever. And he's like, hey, you guys are doing 3 projects in a 3-month time span. He said most people do 1 project in a year, and then they don't do any more projects for like 5 years.
Right.
And he's like, so chill out, like you're doing good. We're getting it done. And like you and I are the kind that like, we did it, we made a decision, let's make it happen tomorrow. But this has been also a lesson for us in patience of waiting, not just on the Lord, but on lawyers, on city people, on, permitting, all these different things that are like, what? I don't want to do that. But we're having to learn how to wait everywhere, and we're having to learn to trust that the waiting is actually worth it.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts about what we're doing on Sunday is we're working on a video.
Well,
we've worked on a video that has looked back on what we've been speaking.
Right.
Because I just jokingly, but it's true, I said, you have a plan. Wait, what, God? Oh, crap. And then you obey. But there's actually another step in there. And that's speaking out what you believe.
Absolutely.
And so, like, we're showing clips.
No, yeah.
We're showing clips from back in 2016 where I said,
we will buy land.
We will buy land. I don't know where. I don't know how we're going to afford it. But there's something powerful about not just believing there's more, but having the courage to speak out that there's more.
Well, it's like calling your shot. Like Babe Ruth, they said like would point and then hit. But one of the things.
But it's calling God shot.
Right.
It's saying this is what God said, and He can do it. I can't. Right. I don't know what I'm doing, but He can, and He does.
One of the things you said was we will buy land for generational impact. What I think is really incredible is that even in the midst of all of these things, like this property that we're sitting on right now is actually a property for our youth that we're using in this way. And like God's faithful to not just, yes, the property, 46 acres, come on, that's generational impact. But He's like, even while you're waiting on that, I still got you. Yeah. I still got your generational impact. I'm not going to let that die either. And so like the things we've spoken out in like authority, he does it. And like even what you said, we don't know what we're doing. So we have screwed things up before. We have failed to do some of the things we should have. Now in hindsight, we learned, but He protected us in it, and He took care of us in it, or He helped catch us in it a few moments before we signed something we shouldn't have, or whatever it was. And so I think what we're learning is, I think what you and I have gotten in some moments, we've gotten to this point of like, is this all we can get to? Is that it? And He's like, no, it is all you can get to, but it's not all you can get to if you'll let me help.
Yeah.
And so we're learning that like, just trust Him.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't know. It's just, I have a whole new energy of like, okay, whatever you say, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. What?
I'm chewing on a bunch.
I can see it.
If you can't tell, we are recording this on Tuesday before Sunday.
Why are you telling them?
Yeah.
We're not transparent people. We don't say all that.
Insider secret. We're trying to make it, because you're watching this hopefully on a Tuesday after we've done the Sunday announcement. And I just said, look, click in the corner. It hasn't actually been recorded yet.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday hasn't actually happened yet.
Correct.
But as I'm sitting here right now in this moment, I'm realizing that not only do we have to not only do we tell the story, but we have to keep speaking forward 100%. Of what's next.
100%.
Because the truth is, there's more for more church.
Right.
I'm gonna be messing up. I'm gonna call and live in church for 3 months.
No, you're not.
There's more, because we will reach 10,000 people on a Sunday morning in Mansfield.
Yeah.
We will have 50 campuses before I retire. I don't know if I'll ever retire. Before I die. I'm saying, we will impact DFW to help the less enfranchised in a great way.
Right.
We will fund campuses in places that are not sexy.
Right.
We will have campuses in places that are beautiful and attractive and affluent. But we're also going to put a campus in Flint, Michigan, in the murder mitten.
Yeah.
We're also going to send people to do things, and we're going to be a hub.
Absolutely.
And we're going to continue to do it. And so I'm saying, like, do I sound crazy? A little bit. I say that in Dallas, there's all these great churches.
Right.
We've got Robert Morris, Gateway Church, incredible.
Yeah.
Man of God, great leader, Bible teacher, done incredible things.
Right.
But do you know what more church is called to be? Is a Gateway type church in South DFW.
Right.
I understand that makes me sound crazy and arrogant, but I feel the tug of more.
Well,
and if you don't speak it, you're not going to get there.
Well, and it's not just it's not arrogant because you're not believing that you're going to do it. You're believing that God's going to do it.
No, I'm going to keep saying I don't know what I'm doing.
No, right. And so because of that, like we say it all the time that God, like all of this belongs to God. So like he do it? Yes, he will. And he can. And so like all he's looking for is people who are willing to be obedient and people who are willing to be available. I think that's a huge piece that you and I have always been available, and we've always been obedient. Sometimes we just would get ahead of ourselves because we were just tripping ourselves up because we want to get there faster. And what we're learning is the pace of what he has for us.
Yeah.
But some people need the push of being available. You need to check yourself and make yourself more available and ready to actually receive what he has. Some people need to start being obedient. Stop listening to what other people are doing. Stop listening to what other people are telling you. I mean, we didn't even say. We had people in this season find out that we gave money, even though it was budgeted in our budget, and we just were like, maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't give it away because we didn't want to. but when they found out we gave it away, they got ticked off. We had people that told us, yeah, you guys are crazy. Why are you doing this? Why are you waiting? We've had people give their opinion about this, that, or the other. But God said, and so we had to do it. And so maybe, I don't know, you might find yourself, I feel like, on different pieces of the spectrum. Maybe you need to learn how to rest and wait, and maybe you need to learn how to get up and work. I don't know what it is.
Maybe you need to sit quietly, or maybe you need to speak some things into existence.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
and
maybe
so,
you need to have some patience in the process.
We're having to learn, okay, we're waiting on the Lord. The Bible tells us we'll renew our strength. And I got to be like so honest that I feel so much stronger in this, like supernaturally, incredibly, like I have strength this week that I have not had in the last year, because I was still like holding on to what can I do, and realizing it. I'm telling you, the whole one, it all lining up in that same week just shows so specifically that like he's got it. He's the one, and chill out. And so the strength comes in that resting. But if you're worn out, like, hey, just wait, like chill out. And like, I don't know, I just feel so much of like, I wish we could help everybody see it and everybody know it, What?
No, it's really good. We feel that renewed strength and renewed energy after a year of hell.
Yeah. Of exhaustion.
Year of exhaustion and hard and not answers
and
just one foot in front of the other.
I mean, all the words I've told, I mean, I don't think you care if I say it, but like, it's been the only year that I've been like, are we going to be okay? Are we going to make it financially? Are we going to make it in this way? Is it going to be all right? And like, what's true is at the end of the day, we still financially we're better than we ever had been any year previously. We still, with people had greater membership and connection, and greater people getting connected to serving and finding their place, and stories and testimonies. But in the middle of it, it felt like, oh crap, maybe it's all going to fall apart.
It's good.
And I think it's knowing that like, if he said it, he will do it. Yeah. He'll complete it. Yeah. We don't got to freak out. And we're just learning.
It's big things. Big things. God's doing big things, and it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And so, it's kind of super churchy. But the Bible talks about how anointing flows.
Yeah. Right.
And how there's a picture of Aaron, not Winnie's husband, but Aaron in the Bible. And it says the anointing of the Lord flows from his head, from the leadership, into the beard, the maturity, the elders, into the robe, to the body.
Right.
That the anointing flows. It's progressive. And so what we've told Living Church.
Oh.
Well, we did tell Living Church.
No, we've been speaking it. Right.
What we're going to continue to tell more church is that what the anointing that's on us, the anointing that's on this leadership will flow into your home.
Absolutely.
And if you are a part of the Tug More team, that same anointing is proxy to you.
Yeah.
Does not mean that you have to live in Mansfield and even attend in our building. But that if you are under this training and this teaching and this way of thinking and transparency, the same anointing that God has on us, the same miracles that he's doing in us, the same more that we're stepping into, he has more for you too.
Absolutely. It has nothing to do with us as people. It has to do with that anointing that comes from being submitted, being obedient, and being willing to do what nobody else is doing. Yeah. And so I'm excited, and I hope that you'll share stories with us. Like, we don't want to just share our story and not know the other stories.
Give us your testimony of what God's done in your life, your more that you stepped into.
Right. And then what are you believing for? Yeah. Like speak it out, but also like type it out. Like, it's so cool. Dude, isn't it cool to look back on some of the things that we've written out and see like...
He did it.
He didn't do it exactly the way we thought, but he actually did it exceedingly abundantly more. Yeah. But he did do the thing that we said. And it was like, what? But it's real. And so it's really do it. What?
We cannot even put this part in, but maybe we can.
Put it in. What?
So the team at More Church is always going to be growing.
Oh, yeah. No, I think put it in.
And if... Okay.
Absolutely.
The team at More Church is always growing. God's doing incredible things here. And so if you're a part of this community and you feel the tug of more and you have an interest to be on our team, reach out to us.
Yeah.
We're hiring for a couple of positions right now. And if you can keep up And if you have a heart to actually be open and honest and transparent and actually be able to get kicked in the teeth and keep on smiling, apply.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How do they do it?
How do they do it? I don't know. I think they can just send us a message or, and we'll get them, we'll respond.
And I'm not even going to tell you what the jobs are, because kind of like, does the Bible actually say all of these different titles that we put in churches?
No, it doesn't.
There's a fivefold ministry of the church, but I'm not sure that anywhere it says like, you are this title pastor.
No.
So if you want to be a part of something incredible, freaking incredible, reach out to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just send a message and then we'll reply and tell you what to do.
I didn't know how today's conversation was going to go. It was going to be real fun. I feel like we got kind of intense and kind of celebratory.
Yeah. We kind of celebrated. We didn't get like goofy. I thought we might like run around in circles, but we didn't.
I will. Okay. Should I get up and run around right now?
No, you don't have to. But
it's just exciting.
Well, and there's so many other pieces of it. And so I'm like, we're going to keep talking about it over the next several weeks.
Forever.
Well, yeah, for always. but this is just laying the context and the groundwork for what I think we're about to share and all kind of things.
Keep praying.
Yeah, please.
Because there's still,
details
and contracts and more.
Like,
and now we got a whole other building design.
Yeah.
All that.
So love y'all.
And if you just happen to be a rich philanthropist and you want to help invest in a church in Mansfield, Texas that believes in women in ministry and is openly transparent and trusts God.
Yes.
We have a building project we would love to talk to you about.
No, it's true. But no, we're excited. Thanks for celebrating with us and being in the celebration. It makes it more fun. Like we talked about just last week, that we don't like doing it alone. We love doing it together. And like the fact that we are getting to celebrate with y'all, it's really sweet.
Biggest decision of the day, barbecue or tacos.
I knew it.
See ya.